This folding fat tire electric bike has a claimed top speed of 20 miles per hour, and they say we could do 65 miles range with pedal assist. Peak power on the motor is 750 watts, which should help with range actually. And the list price is $1,099 in the link below this video. It's called the Cirq Coyote Plus, and today we're gonna review it. And here's what it looks like when you get out of the box. They say it comes shipped 95% assembled, and this thing is like basically done, bro. So on the rear, it has a Bafang branded hub drive motor. Website says it is 500 watts nominal, 750 watts peak, and it does have Cirq branded hydraulic brakes, rolling on 180 millimeter rotors. Same exact thing up front with an RST guide suspension fork. On the left stanchion, you have the ability to lock it or unlock it, and this one is rolling on Kenda knobby tread tires, 20 inches tall, 4 inches thick. Open dropouts on the axle with a quick release, and it is a folding e-bike, so the handlebars fold, lock in place, and have adjustable height. There's a place to mount a rack up front. It's got the water bottle holder on there for you, and the rear rack is already installed with a brake light on the back. Metal fenders. It's got a Cirq branded seat, about a medium width, obviously with a quick release so you can adjust it. And the bike won't power on unless you turn the ignition on with the key. It's the same key that locks this thing on or unlocks it, so we can take a look at the battery. Not a whole lot of markings on this one, but there is a 48 17.6 stamped on there, as well as this label, and a little button on top so you can check the charge. The hydraulic brake levers are branded Cirq ergonomic grips. Button to turn it on and adjust our pedal assist. The display has a USB port below it. Power that on in a minute. There's a bell and a 7-speed shifter. Quarter twist throttle on the right, as well as a switch that turns it on and off, or should I say disables the throttle here. Dropping the battery on a scale here. It says it weighs in at 10.4 pounds. Standing on the scale without the battery, it says 252.4 pounds minus my weight of 192.4. So 60 pounds on the dime without the battery, which puts the whole bike at 70 pounds once you have the battery on there. So I am 6'5", inseam 34. Here is what I look like getting on the bike. It has a very low and wide step through frame. Handlebars are adjustable height. I'll put them on max. So with the handlebars on max and the seat on max, here's what I look like on this electric bicycle. It's got a nice short reach. It looks like a good upright riding position. Of course, you can drop the handlebars down as well as the seat down. So this bike can fit a wide variety of individuals. Definitely need some air in that rear tire. And here's what I look like on the bike with minimum settings. Now it is a folding fat tire electric bike with the battery on it. And once they get to be about 70 pounds, they're a little bit cumbersome, honestly, but you could fold it up, though, in the back of an SUV. I've done it a million times. It can be done. Is it fun? No. It's better to have a rack for your car, bro. And the charger they give us is Cirq branded. Charges at a rate of 2.8 amps. So it'll take ballpark 6 hours to charge the battery from empty to full. So let's turn this thing on. It says Cirq on display. This one does have a color display. So we get our battery up here sitting at 53.3 volts. That is almost charged upon arrival. We also get the time of day, miles per hour, how many watts the motor's outputting. I always love to see that one. Time, trip. Let's hit that button a couple times. Odometer, range, some basic stuff. Oh, we do get advanced settings here. Of course, you turn on the headlight, holding the plus button, dims the display, shows it is on. Here's what that light's looking like shining. Still need to put it on there, actually. There's also a light on the rear, and when I grab the brake lever, lights up a bit brighter. And of course, 5 levels of pedal assist. No, that was 9 levels of pedal assist. Usually they do 5. 9 works too. Let's try the throttle. So that is a button to turn it on and off. You got to press that. I'll turn it on. There we go. So it does give us a wattage readout here. It doesn't take many watts to get a motor to turn with no load on it. So let's top off the charge and get it out for a ride. All right, dudes. That's like the Cirq Coyote Plus. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a rip up the 20% grade. It's a little watt meter on there. I have it on pedal assist 9, 200-pound rider, and it's showing the wattage at right at about 1,000 watts. Peak power pulling us right up at about 5 miles an hour. So for the throttle, I have it on pedal assist 1. It doesn't seem to matter on throttle what pedal assist you have it on. It'll still give you that 1,000 watts of peak power. So the pedal assist mode is only for the actual pedaling of this bike. We'll talk about that in a few, but let's throw it on pedal assist 9 and see what it can do on throttle only. Ready, go. 10, 15, and 22. So throttle cuts you off just above 20 at about 21, 22. And this bike is a cadence sensor, meaning if I just start turning my legs at all on pedal assist 9, it gives me the full beams and it'll probably take me up the top speed, which is the same exact pedaling as if you use throttle, right at about 20, 21. So having that top speed peak out at 20 is good for range, but not good for keeping up with traffic on faster roads, especially a McLaren, bro. Motor makes a bit of noise. It is no Magician Alpha, but it does cost less than half of the price of that bike. And the motor on this bike is a Bafang name brand motor, similar to the Magician Alpha I just mentioned. Very different motors, but both made by a very large player in the e-bike component industry. So it's always good to have a Bafang rather than some sort of no-name motor on a bike. Looking at the meter here, throttling at 20 takes about 500 watts of power. So doing the math, you could look at the watt hours of the battery divided by the watts, and that'll tell you how many hours this thing will run before the battery will be dead. But that's not really practical to just full throttle for the whole ride. It's really the stop and go driving using throttle from a dig that takes a big toll on the battery. You can see it says 1,000 watts there to get going. So if you want to maximize your range, you might want to press this button here to disable the throttle. That way you can, rely on the pedal assist a little bit more, get a little better efficiency out of it. So stop and go riding is hard on the battery, but not nearly as hard as riding on sand. Let's see how it does out here. Doing a little better than I thought. I'm just gonna start pedaling. I have it on gear number 1, and we're kind of actually getting through this. Now the 4-inch wide Navi tread tires are the best you can pretty much have for riding on sand. The soft stand is the most challenging, of course, and yeah, we're kind of struggling here. So that's kind of one of the benefits of the throttle. You can throttle your way out of a situation like this if you need to. So as of now, this is the most exercise I got on this bike, just walking on the sand here. Let's try out the pedal assist modes. So this one does have 9 levels of pedal assist, more than our typical 5 levels of pedal assist. Now that does not mean it has more power just because that number goes higher, just means you have more adjustability between the 9 levels. So let's see what happens if we put it on pedal assist 1. What does that do? I have it on gear number 7, pedal assist 1, gives us about 280 watts. Cadence sensor brings us up to 10 where it cuts us off. So with the cadence sensor, it doesn't matter how hard you press on the pedals. You don't even have to apply tension to the chain at all. It'll give you power no matter what. Let's try pedal assist 2. So bumps you up in speed just a little bit, and that's what it's going to continue to do. Basically 11 on 2, 12 on 3. So very gradual bumps in power here. 4 is 15 miles an hour. So it's actually kind of nice that they have 9 levels of pedal assist on the cadence sensor. A lot of times there could be big jumps in power and speed between the levels. Let's throw it on 6 and see if we can get up this hill. I did notice there's not as much lag on the throttle on the Coyote Plus compared to the Coyote Light that I rode yesterday. Now, no suspension on the rear makes for a pretty rigid experience riding this thing off-road, but you could throw a suspension C-post on there or drop the PSI in these big old fat tires. But we do have the front shock, the RST guide, which is actually decent. So better to have some suspension than no suspension on an electric bike. But hey, we are talking, basically a $1,000 electric bike here. So about the handling on this bike, if you're looking at a fat tire e-bike, this one actually feels relatively nimble compared to some of them. It's the shorter 20-inch wheels, and then, where that battery is mounted, it's in a nice location for handling low and in the center of the bike. So a lot of times these fat tire e-bikes, especially the taller 26-inch style ones, they're just giant bikes, but with the shorter wheels, you get more of a nimble feel for sure. I would say, a shorter individual could handle this a lot better than a 26-inch style fat tire e-bike. But the shorter wheels, they don't roll over stuff quite as good, which is why you saw it struggling in the sand a bit. That in combination with just lower power, 1,000 watts is really just not quite enough to get through soft sand, but you can do all right if the sand's a little more hard packed or light trail riding for sure. You can do this bike with. It's the annual Burning Man, what do you call it? Like replica event essentially. Oh yeah, we can kind of get up this hill. Whoa, just a bit here. Thing's got hydraulics on it. That's pretty cool actually. So if you think this thing rides harsh, imagine how harsh that thing rides. It doesn't even have any rubber on the tires nor suspension, but it does have hydraulics. Dude, does that thing actually drive?
Oh yeah.
That is awesome, man. How tall are those wheels? Like 5 feet?
6.
Wow.
2, baby.
That is so cool, man. I would love to drive that thing. You gotta check out these things, man. Look at that. I think this event is called Afterburn. Get through a little sand here, just enough to get out here. Wow. Oh, it's got a grill on the back. It's actually a trike, basically a giant e-bike, right? Let's continue on here. So the one thing about these cadence sensors is they can be a little bit jumpy since it doesn't measure how hard you press on the pedals. We have it on pedal assist 1, which is the weakest power mode, but if I start pedaling just a little bit here, it cuts you off at 10 miles an hour, but it kind of hits you at that power like abruptly. The torque sensors tend to be a little bit smoother since it measures how hard you're pressing on the pedals. What is that stick, bro? But yeah, so like a really slow speed, you kind of got to use that throttle to get it going. Right at like 4 or 5 miles an hour when you start pedaling, yeah, just, what's the number saying on there? 1,000 watts. So it basically gives you full blast power, which does make it a little bit, you know, just jarring. So the website says sustained power is 500 watts, peak power is 750 watts. We're gonna give it a try on the California incline, 85-foot climb, and see how much sustained power it can give us. Now, this is a single motor e-bike, so we don't have any front motor to contend with spinning out on us. It's got plenty of power. It can pull us up this little spiral section. This is roughly equal to like the 20% grade right here. And we put a little bit of heat, a little bit of power into that motor. It is saying 930 watts. And now from the base of the California incline, ready, go. Let's see how long it takes to get to the top. So we are on pedal assist 9, which doesn't matter. We could be on 1, 9, it doesn't matter. Throttle's gonna give us all the power. I'm not pedaling this thing. So we're getting peak power. Still showing 930 watts, and at this little grate, 26 seconds, and it's still pulling 922 watts. And now we're hitting 18 miles an hour, still pulling 927 watts for solid 42, 43, 40, 46, 47 seconds to get to the top. So let's see how these brakes stop from basically top speed, 20-ish. Back brake is on the right, and we'll just kind of slam on them. Not even slam. Yeah, these brakes are really, really good, man. What are these even? I forget. Cirq branded. They look like Tektras and they feel like Tektras to me. Big rotors. Bike isn't excessively heavy, so I mean, this is the exact kind of brake you want on your electric bicycle. All right, so I'll tell you where we end up on final range in just a minute. I'll share my final thoughts along the way. So current price on this bike is $1,099 in the link below. I should have a little coupon code down there to help save you a little bit of money if you do decide this is the electric bike for you, and it would help support my reviews here on Tail Happy TV. And of course, I greatly appreciate your support. My final thoughts on this bike, it's pretty decent for a folding fat tire electric bike. It's really all the power you need. I like that it does have front suspension, and it seems just like a practical tool. You know, it's like easy to get on and off with that low, wide step-through frame, the short fatties. So if you're, you know, just looking for something to get around town, 20 miles an hour or under at a reasonable price with the Bafang motor, peaking out at 1,000 watts according to this. Of course, the on-off button for the throttle is always a nice safety feature, especially for newbie riders. And then, you know, if you want a bike that can fit multiple riders, this is good because you can adjust the handlebar height as well as the seat height. Some of the things I don't really love about it, the cadence sensor is a little bit, you know, just aggressive on the power from a slow speed. So you're gonna have to kind of modulate that with the throttle or be ready for it. And then the battery, so it's not, oh, look at this snake. The battery, you know, it's not like the hugest battery, but that's what helps contribute to like a more nimble, lightweight feeling electric bike. So, you know, it's always trade-offs, bro. I also like that it has Kenda tires. You know, they seem to be a little bit better quality than some of the really cheap stuff we see on this channel. And as I mentioned, brakes feel good. So that's pretty much my final thoughts. If you want to grab one, let's head on home, see where we end up on range. So per usual, I just throttled it all the way home at 20 miles per hour, pulling about 300 to 400 watts to hold this speed. Did not pedal this bike at all today because I like to go 20 and I can't keep up pedaling at 20. And today we covered about 17 miles, hour 25 minutes ride time. Average speed was 11.82 miles per hour. Battery remaining says 47.1 volts on the battery, which is just under 50%. And I was throttle only with the 200-pound rider, kind of, you know, going out on the sand some and put the thing through its paces at top speed. So if you do want to grab one of these, use that link down below the video to get you the best price and also help support my reviews. However, if this is not the kind of electric bicycle for you, bro, you should watch this video right here. You're gonna love it. Catch you over there.